Hey everybody, it is the 23rd of October 2021. It's time for an update on the home. So I was hoping by the time I'm shooting this video that my brick underpinning would be completely finished. However, it's not. It's a work in progress. The brick mason, he apparently had some issues with his truck, and he's supposed to be back out this week to finish up. But let me tell you guys, it's looking really good. He got the right side finished. It's a darker colored brick. Let me see here if this has it on here. Old Charleston modular brick is what we decided to go with. And I must say, aside from the delays he's having with getting back out here, I'm actually really happy with his work. He had to work with a crappy footing. The mobile home movers, they did a good job moving the home, but they did a sorry job when they went to pour the concrete for the footings for this place. Not so much the pier footings, but the perimeter. That was horrible. As you may know, or you may not know, the perimeter footing is supposed to be level, because that's what the brick sits on. It's supposed to be level. You can see what the brick mason had to do here. He had to turn some bricks on their side, as you can see through here. I mean, you notice if you look real close, but he worked with what he had. And so over here, we are finished on this side. I got all the brick there. The vents are there. Won't be too much longer until we have a deck here, and I'm going to show you the progress on the porches here shortly. You can see there's a hole right there that's going to get covered up. But I tell you, it's looking nice. Electric meter there whizzing away. I just turned the hot water heater back on. I'll talk about that here shortly. Here we are around back. Another thing I'm working on is getting this spot back here leveled up. It's even after the rim joist was replaced, the guy who did the rim joist work, I think he ripped me off. I was expecting him to have taken care of all this, not me having to do it myself. But as you may know, that door there drags pretty bad when you go to open it. That one there, without the blocks there, it's hard to open and close. I mean, it closes and opens, but it doesn't catch like it's supposed to. Now it does. I still got to work on it a little bit more. This door here, I got to come back over here and lift up some more to get this one to completely stop dragging. But I'll show you that when I get inside. You can see all the brick stacked up out here. I mean, the guy's he's done quite a bit. The first day he come out, he unloaded the the brick from the pallets and got it all staged around the house and got his leveling, I guess you'll call it leveling strip, got that up. So no, you ain't gonna be much longer till this thing is bricked in completely. And so now it's looking like November's gonna be when I'll be moving into this place. Because once the brick underpinning's done, it's gonna be all hands on deck. Speaking of decks, you can see we have the front porch attached now. This is the porch that came with the home, with some modifications. It wasn't. This porch is going to get bricked in. It wasn't bricked in previously. It just had 1, 2, 3, 4x4s supporting it on the front, and it was lagging to the back of the house. Yeah, I don't think you're really supposed to be lagging these things into manufactured homes, but I do think this one here was actually built with, or it was optioned with an attached deck, because there was a strip of rim joist there that, look, it was left there from the factory that was already flashed and everything, and I went and reattached it. So it's going to be supported by the brick underpinning when it's done. Right now it's being supported on these blocks, and it is bolted to the house, but it's also supported on, there's a perimeter footing back there the mobile home mover is set up that they didn't do quite right, but at least for this, it's being beneficial. I got them blocks back there. I'm going to leave those there. That's going to help support the porch. I might set a third set over there in that area, but it's bolted on, and I'd say it's pretty stable. It'll be even more stable once the brick underpinning is here to support it. That's what this footing here is for. Already went ahead and started attaching the rail posts. Got those attached. And the stairs are going to go right here. It's going to be a set of stairs right here. It's going to be 4 steps roughly. But for now, I got these temporary ones over here. And we're on the deck. It's so nice getting to walk up onto a deck and then enter the house. So come inside. We'll talk about some updates going on in here. First off with the roof. I gotta have a roofer come out and repair the roof around this chimney, because there is in fact an active leak going on up there. That roof deck is so rotted right there. That matter of fact, I was over here working one night and you can hear it start dripping, dripping, dripping. And I felt up in there, and lo and behold, guys, I felt either the bottom of the shingles or the bottom of the tar paper. So yeah, that's not good. That definitely needs to be addressed like very soon. So I gotta have a roofer come out, have him give me an estimate on repairing that, and also just let him give me an estimate on replacing the entire roof. So that way I'll know what to expect there. I'll talk about this here in a minute. So I tell you what, guys, although delays suck, in a way it's a good thing they happen, because last week when I was out here starting to work on these rail posts, I looked right over here, right where that pier is, that stack of blocks is. There was a wet spot right there. Yeah, wasn't supposed to be there. No, it wasn't. Check my water pressure real quick. We're doing good there. I'll talk about that in a moment. So yeah, happened to go inside the house, and this is the thing. If the brick underpinning was already there, I would have never have seen that, and that leak would have continued to, yes, guys, leak. That leak would have continued until it would have started rotting the bedroom floor out, or probably the bathroom floor out. Turn these lights on here. It was one of the supply lines to that faucet there. Started leaking. This place still had, at least up through here, still had all its original polybuilding plumbing. And it wasn't the poly's fault this time. It was actually an O-ring inside one of those 2 fittings there. Not those fittings. Those are brand new. But the ones that were on here were like it. Were similar to it. One of the beveled washers, rubber washers, on the cold water side had started to fail. It was starting to leak. It was a really slow leak. It's a slow drip. It followed down the pipe and tracked onto the floor. You can still see the floor is still just a tad bit wet. It's been taking a few days to air out and dry out. But yeah, guys, I did pull this carpet up here to make sure that the damage hadn't, or the water leaking hadn't got onto this floor here, and luckily it hadn't. You can see I converted from poly to PEX there, installed a couple of shutoff valves, which they weren't there before. I always like to have shutoffs at every faucet, and went PEX all the way up to here and installed those, and that took care of our problem. And that leads us to the next thing. So after I got all this done, I took a shower over here. That way it would be a good test to make sure there's no leaking going on. And with that came a cycling of the water heater. See, the water heater, when you're not using the hot water, it doesn't cycle very much. I mean, it comes on once in a while to reheat the water, but it's very brief, because the water in the tank is right at the set point, which is 120 degrees. So it's not having to do much. But after a shower, of course, you deplete some of that hot water, and then it has to reheat that water. So under the house, which I'm not sure if I'll be able to see from the edge really well. I mean, we're filming with my phone, which does not have optical zoom. Tell you what, let's go into the back again. As you can tell, guys, I've still been pretty busy with this place. Other things going on with it. But it's going to work out, guys. It will. Once this brick underpinning is done, then I can go all hands on deck and get those decks built. And then we can get the CO and move in. So way back there, you may be able to see it. Let me set this flashlight down on something. Right back there is what's called a PRV, or pressure reducing valve. It's installed right past where the water main comes out of the ground. Right there, that water line coming out of the ground, that's where the front edge of the single wide trailer used to be. I installed that PRV because my street pressure here, I have city water, my street pressure was like 100 psi. Yeah, not good. And the thing about it, guys, the single wide, before I bought it, had a water line bust. Yet the guy who owned it he was pretty much a tightwad. He didn't want to spend no money on repairing stuff the right way. He just replaced the pipe, and that was affected, and went on about his way. So the 5 years I lived in the single wide that was here, my water pressure was dangerously high. I never knew it. So I installed that pressure reducing valve. Pressure reducing valve's job is to limit the incoming water pressure down to a set point. The factory set point on that pressure, on that PRV, is 50 psi. So the incoming water pressure is supposed to be limited to 50 psi. You can see we're a little above that right now. But anyways, back to the point. So after I took the shower, after I got dressed and everything, I was getting ready to head over back to my parents' house for the night. And I said, you know what, I'm going to check the water pressure. I screwed this little gauge on and turned the spigot on, and sure enough, it was about 80 psi. Which I thought at first, it was the PRV failing. But then I was like, wait a second. With the PRV and probably the water meter at the street, I know at least one of them have a check valve, which prevents water from going back into the city water supply. There's a water main at the street out there, prevents the water from going back into the water supply. So when the water inside the house, when the water heater heats up, the water expands as it's heated up. Well, in the case that you have a backflow preventer, that water has nowhere to go. So guess what happens? The pressure increases. So I was like, you know what? Okay, we need to install this guy, an expansion tank. So I got that installed just now. Matter of fact, as I was saying out front, when I showed the electric meter, I had just turned this water heater back on. It's been on roughly since the start of this video. This thing has like a 10-minute time delay. Electronics up there, of course. It has a 10-minute time delay before it kicks on. And it's been going for like 13.5 minutes now, roughly. 14 minutes, something like that. And it's eyeballing everything here, make sure we ain't got any leaks. Which, you can see what I did here is I went from poly to PEX right there and got a shut off right there. Got a T right there, got this fitting right there. Going to this expansion tank. That's the expansion tank, and basically, yeah, I bought this from Lowe's. It's pre-charged to 25 psi. I took my air compressor, and I used the air compressor's variable pressure selection. I don't know what to call it, but I set it to 50 psi. It may have ended up doing just a hair over 50 psi. But what happens is when the pressure of the water exceeds the pressure of the air in the bladder in this thing, it allows the water to go in there. And when the expansion, when the water contracts and the pressure drops, the water can come back out. That's pretty much in a nutshell what it does. Now you can see there's actually some water standing in this pan down here. Of course, working on these lines, water did kind of go everywhere just a little bit. Directed most of it to the tank, and of course draining the water heater even though I had a hose hooked up to that, when I popped open this right here, even with some faucets on in the house, water still managed to come out into the pan. But anyways, so got the expansion tank installed on the water heater, and it seems to be doing its job. The water pressure is not going up, at least not over what it needs to be. 50 to 55 pounds is roughly what that PRV is set to. Yeah, guys, yours truly has become a plumber. He's become a carpenter in a way. I mean, I'm out here building decks, which, yeah, I got something in mind. I got something to show you guys here in a minute. I'm saving it. Saving it for toward the end of the video. So I come out here. I think the water heater is still heating the water. Yep, it's still going. So what I like about these electric meters, they have like a scroll on them. That way you can see how much demand there is, how much demand you're pulling. Yeah, the new electric meters that Duke Energy has, they don't have that. We have Energy United here, the electric co-op. But I'm telling you guys, this whole project, I'm telling you, it's, as I've said in previous videos, has been a project of delays. And after careful consideration in researching the building codes for the decks, yours truly has decided he's going to take matters into his own hands about the porches. So the back deck, I'm planning on doing that myself. I'm not hiring somebody to come out and help me with that because, or at least I'm not hiring someone to come out and do it because I'm sick and tired of people dragging their feet and not showing up when they want to show up, when it's time for them to show up. I'm tired of it, guys. I'm tired of people dragging their feet. And it seems like the only people who didn't drag their feet were the mobile home movers, and thank the Lord for that. So, of course, this door opens and shuts fine. It always has. Open that back up. The center door this one here, up until, let's see, when I took the blocks out from under the house, this door here, it would easily open and close. You can see now it catches just fine. It used to be it wouldn't catch. Now, the door in the future tech room, their computer office, this one still needs some help. It's better. You can see it's these are still far too low, and when you go to open it, there's the bottom of the door still drags the frame just a little bit. It's a whole lot better than it was. Really, to be honest, if I can adjust it to where it's not dragging, then I can deal with the rest of it in here. But I gotta get back out there tonight, I guess, and take the jack up the rim joist there a little bit. So I'll show you that again, basically where I've lifted the back of the house. I like shooting these videos with the phone because it has very good stabilization. So, as I said, blocks there, you can see the jack on the other ones, and that jack is just barely able to lift this house. But I set a set of blocks there under this door, and that took care of this door. I did this one. I did this one first. Yeah, I did this one first, and then went to that one and got that one adjusted. So I got to come back over here to this side and try this one more time now that that side is lifted up. It's pretty tricky stuff. You got to be really careful doing it. But Parent stalls are having a fit. Backyard's looking a lot better. Got most of that scrap wood burnt. It's looking a whole lot better back here. I feel like I'm starting to get my backyard back. It'd be nice to have my house back. I'll tell you guys, this is over 5 months and counting now. So I just got receipt of a defrost board for this heat pump. The defrost board that's in it is not bad. It's just the time temp design, which I absolutely hate. With a time temperature style heat pump defrost control, your heat pump will go into defrost far too often and many times when there's no defrost needed. So I got an Emerson universal heat pump defrost control. I had one installed on the heat pump when I was in the single wide. I'm going to install one on this one. And what's nice about it is not only can you set your heat pump up to have demand defrost. Look up on YouTube what demand defrost is if you'd like to know a better explanation on it. But this also has a built-in outdoor thermostat for locking out the strip heat. That's another thing about heat pumps. That's why a lot of times you got to be careful about how you adjust the thermostat on one, because when you crank up that thermostat's going to bring on not just the heat pump, but then also the backup heat, even when it's mild outside and it's otherwise not needed, when the heat pump can handle the house easily on its own. So that defrost control I'm getting, it has that. It has, of course, the demand defrost. It has the demand defrost. It has the auxiliary heat lockout, where you can lock it out above, let's say 40 to 45 degrees outside. And it has other protections that this thing really could use. So one more thing to talk about, guys, for in this video is the enclosed porch. It is enclosed no more. Recently my dad come over here with his forklift and a chainsaw and took the top off of this thing. Where's the top at? Oh, it's right over there. Not sure what I'm going to do with it just yet. I've got some ideas in mind. Thinking about using this roof, perhaps behind my building over there, as like a lean-to. It's going to actually be a little too long, but I think I'll be able to make it work. It's crazy to come home seeing this thing sitting out in the yard. So the first thing I did to this former enclosed porch is I had to really strengthen up these railings, because the railings were floppy. They were about ready to break off. Matter of fact, if I pushed them hard enough, they would just snap right off, because they were just nailed into the decking. And that's not going to be acceptable for code. I still got a little bit more to do with this thing. So you're wondering, okay, why are you working on over here? Why is it not against the house? Well, I gotta dig the footings for the porches and get those inspected. And once those pass inspection, and then once that's done, I can go ahead and set this porch in place. And my dad, I'm going to show you this, guys, here in a few minutes. We should be able to lift this entire porch with the forklift and bring it right over there. Otherwise, we can put PVC pipe under it and drag it with the Bobcat. That's how we got it here in the first place. And my dad's got a Bobcat. He's got a big forklift. Got all sorts of toys. So what I've done here is I've reinforced this railing with 4x4 posts. It seems excessive. Yeah, I know. But the state building code requires 4x4 posts. And technically it requires through bolts with a nut and washer, but in this case, everywhere there's a railing is also where there was a floor joist for this thing. So I ended up going with 3/8 lag bolts. I mean, they're in there deep. This thing is really sturdy now. And I added a top rail, and that really helped things out with this thing, because it was super floppy, and I'd be afraid to even think about leaning against it. But now I can lean against it all day long. I mean, it moves just a little bit, but it's definitely a lot better. Whole lot better. So this is going to be the side porch, and ultimately, guys, I mean, after talking with the guy on the street who does like contracting work. The thing is that that roof on that porch was not in the best of shape. It was, I mean, wasn't built very, very well. And also, in order to have it on the house, I'd have to flash it, which will mean cutting into the siding, which is chevroned. It goes up in a pattern, and it wouldn't be as simple as just taking boards off. You'd have to cut them, and I'm like, no, let's not do that. Yeah, guys, I am gonna miss having the screened-in porch, but hey, I do plan on having that up there enclosed someday. I mean, the roof only has to come out like a few feet to cover it. But yeah, this light's getting low on charge. But I tell you guys, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice when it's all done. And it's, mark my words, I'm hoping I'm right here. It's not gonna be much longer. Because, as I've said, this has been a project of delays. And that's why I made a decision with the porches to not contract it out. I'm doing it myself. I'm sick and tired of people. I'm just sick and tired of some of these people taking forever to get out here and do the work, or doing shoddy work and just ripping me off. Now, I mean, I want to say the two people I think who did a good job would be the mobile home movers, minus the crappy footings. I wish the footings were poured and leveled a bit better for the perimeter. That way the brick mason wouldn't have such a time with them. But they did a good job moving this thing. They took good care of it in the move. And I mean, I do wish they would have, I mean, for what they charged us to move this thing, I do wish they would have stepped up and done a little bit better, like with cleaning up a little bit. You know, me and my parents, we had to clean everything up here. We had to shovel and move dirt after they dug the holes for the footings. We had to do all that ourselves. We had to break up and dispose of concrete that was like over poured and stuff. It was just, I mean, but overall the mobile home movers, they did all right. The key thing is they got this thing moved during the deadline we had. We had to have this thing moved off the former lot by June 1st, and they went well and beyond that. So they did good there. And the brick mason, I mean, he's had some things going on, but overall he's worked with these crappy footings, and he's produced a really nice product so far. I just can't wait for it to be finished completely. And I tell you, I was in the house trying to get that plumbing work finished up. Otherwise, I'd have come out here and done my video earlier. But I tell you, it's looking nice. It's gonna look very nice when it's all done. Well, let's see here. I know we're almost 30 minutes in now. This is probably the longest home update I've posted. So much to talk about today, guys. Water heater is still going. You can see there, it's still pulling. So let's go check the water pressure again. I tell you, it's nice. I was out here working on I was working on something last night, and people driving by was like, "Your house is beautiful. We love your house." So it's right at about 60. Like I say, I can't be 100% certain what I set that air compressor to. It's supposed to have been around 50, but it could have been closer to 60. I should have checked it with a tire gauge, but I think it's still, I mean, 60 pounds. It's nothing to really be worried about. That's normal water pressure. But not 80 to 100 psi. No, that's not normal. But I tell you guys, this home, it's what this piece of property always needed. I mean, it had this big Big open lot, corner lot. Nice lot, but it had that single wide trailer on it. And this never seemed like in a very, I mean, the single wide, it was all right. I made it into a decent little place to live in for 5 years, but this here, guys, this here is home. Really, really excited. Okay, everybody. So it's the following day, and even though last night's video was like 30 minutes long, I figured that wasn't long enough. So let's go ahead and do this little daytime clip. So, get you a better view of what's going on here with the brick underpinning. So the guy is supposed to be back out tomorrow to work on it some more. There is a chance of thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon, so we'll see about that. But here's you a good look at it. I think it's pretty. I think it looks really cool. So this is the finished side of the house. It's crazy that porch is going to be covering up a good majority of that. But have to brick the whole thing, so there you have it. I wasn't going to brick in that porch because I may have future plans for this over here. I might put a sunroom over here one day, I don't know. Definitely would like to get that covered. So you can pretty much see where he left off. Still got some more bricks here. So his plan, I believe, is to do this porch last. So, and since I forgot to show you the forklift yesterday or last night, here it is. This big guy over here. Probably wondering how the heck can you lift the porch with it. Well, look at what my dad rigged up here on the forks of this thing. So the fork's already pretty big as it is, but added these 4x6s to it. Two of these old 2x8s that were scrap wood from the former back porch on the house. Yeah, I had a lot of these floor joists off the back deck from this home that were just rotted. Crazy to think that they said that the people who sold the house who sold us the home, the listing said brand new back deck. Yeah, that's a lie. Anyways, freaking airplanes. Yeah, should I run back? So I got the house jacked up, and I have to show you inside. I got both doors to open and close freely. Let me come here and show you the former screen-in porch, which is now going to be an open deck. Still got to attach. I still got to finish up the top rail. I'm using some of the extra floor decking from the former back porch of this home. I'm gonna have some extra due to the way I'm building the porch, the back deck anyway. Gonna have some extra of those, so use them. Steps are gonna go right there, and of course right there is the roof off this thing. Still up and still haven't quite decided what I'm gonna do with it just yet, but definitely like to do something with it soon because it's kind of sitting in the neighbor's yard a little bit, which they're fine with it. We already checked with them. But take you inside the house real quick to show you the doors on the back. I'm getting ready to start marking out the dimensions of the side porch, so way I can start digging footings. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the porch, and I got 3 to dig for the steps. They all have to be a foot wide by a foot deep, kind of like this here, except that's continuous. So, in my video last night, this door here was opening and closing just fine. Still does. But now, while this door here does not, I mean, you look at the frame, the door frame, it still looks a little off, but it's a lot better than it was. While these are not still quite lining up, I can still deadbolt lock it though. If you look, you don't hear that dragging sound. It drags just a little bit, but they all actually do that. Big improvement there. I'm probably going up just redoing these, lowering these a little bit and calling it a day. I mean, this door is doing a whole lot better than it was. I mean, I could probably lift this door just a little bit. I mean, but there ain't much room there. But that door frame, it looked way worse before now. And just again show you this this bedroom door. Of course, it opens and closes just fine. So one thing I did have to do last night to this water heater, or at least the expansion tank, is I had to tighten it up a little more. Had to get a good set of wrenches on it. And had to tighten it probably a half turn, roughly, something like that. Because it was starting to dab a little bit of water up in these threads. It was leaking just a little bit, so I had to tighten it up a little more. It's got Teflon tape in there, so just had to tighten it up a little more, and it's been fine ever since. The good thing is now the air valve is right up front, so I think that works out pretty well. Water pressure's been checking out good, so it seems to be doing its job. So that is an update on the home. And hopefully by the next time I do one of these updates, of course, the house will be brick underpinned. But hopefully it'll be at least close to done with the decks. So, after the brick underpinning is finished, and of course, provided this is the doors can still open and close okay. I mean, I gotta have a roofer come out and take a look at that spot in the roof. But really, the big thing that's still holding me up from living here is decks. So we'll be getting those decks done. And once those decks are done, I can request the final inspection. And once that passes, I have to do the zoning inspection. And once that's cleared, I can get the certificate of occupancy, and I can start moving back in. So I'm excited, guys. This has been a journey that I never knew would take this long. I'm telling you guys, it's been stressful. But it's gonna work out. So I guess it's time to about wrap it up, guys, for this update. Hopefully the next time I do an update, I'll have the decks either completed or mostly completed. Just checking over this plumbing one more time. Don't see any issues there. Anyways, guys, that's an update on the home. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.